Public education is very important. It's important to all of us. On the other side of the balance beam is public health. I decided to close the public schools because I believed it was safer to close the schools and reduce the spread. We did that on March 18th. We said we would do it for 2 weeks, and then we would reassess the situation at the end of 2 weeks. 2 weeks ends on April 1. We also said that we would waive what's called a 180-day requirement that every school has to teach for 180 days. We would waive that, but that we would close the schools until April 1, and then we would reassess. Also, we said that every school district, before it closes, had to come up with plans to continue functions that they were doing, because school districts do more than just educate. They provide child care for essential workers. They provide schools. They provide meals in the schools. So everything that they were doing, they had to come up with a plan to mitigate the consequence of their closing, including distance learning for their students. I have to reassess because April 1 is just in a couple of days, and I believe the schools should remain closed. I don't do this joyfully, but I think when you look at where we are and you look at the number of cases still increasing, it only makes sense to keep the schools closed. They have to continue the programs they're doing. They have to continue the child care, continue the meals, continue the distance learning programs. I'll continue the waiver on what's called the 180-day mandate that they have to be in operation. But we're going to close the schools for another 2 weeks, and then we'll reassess at that point, and that is statewide. At the same time, we're working to increase hospital capacity. What is the possible apex of the curve? It changes a little bit depending on the data day to day, but now we're looking at about 21 days for a possible apex. So we want to do everything we can to be ready for that increased capacity that could hit us in 21 days and ramp up the hospital capacity. We are doing everything we can. We're doing things that have never been done before. We're doing things that when we put them on the table, people thought they were impossible. But we are now doing the impossible, as you know well here, with what you did over the past week.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.